The producer just told me I can talk about whatever I want to talk about, which is no suit Sunday Night Football. I'm looking at Hamilton because he's wearing this quarter zip. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, both quarter zipping it up. There's scarves. Chris Collinsworth has many layers, but no suit Sundays. I want to know who decides that. Is it coordinated? What makes you wear a suit versus not? You're making Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady suited up every week, but Sunday Night Football is all of a sudden casual Sundays. That's what I want to talk about. Not just that, though. Don't worry. You've got a good one tonight between the Rams and the Niners. It's Thursday Night Football Week 15. Is LA set to go on a run? I say so, and I'll sing about it with Kobe Turner till the cows come home. Also, we'll break down the playoff picture. You want to know? We've got you. And can Saquon Barkley be stopped? Should we worry about the Bills' defense? Luke Kuechly says, no, we're digging into the tape. Not me. He will have some answers. And I couldn't be more excited about this. ESPN's Kimberley Martin will be here. She is doing it all. And I need to talk about Belichick and Youngins and UNC and the Jets. Are they cursed? It's all here. Some form from the overlords to sign. I'm not doing that. I've got some commercially stuff to do. I'm not doing that right now. I'm going to do this. This is the slate. Cat prints this out. Week 15. Can you believe it? It's week 15. Tonight it kicks off with Rams-Niners, a little NFC West battle. Before we get there, I want to check out the whole slate. All-time great matchups this week. Two that are majorly going to impact the race for the number one seed in both conferences. Steelers, Eagles, Bills, Lions. Philly is favored by 5.5. Get to FanDuel Sportsbook, everybody. Spread some holiday cheer. Have some fun responsibly, of course. Detroit, a 2.5-point favorite over Buffalo. What do you make of that?
I think they should be favored over Buffalo. They've, Buffalo coming off a rough performance with that defense. The Lions have been lighting it up, 11 straight.
Can someone get Hamilton a coffee? We've got Dolphins, Texans, Houston favored by 2.5 or Coke Zero. That's what Hamilton drinks at 9 a.m. It's wild. Absolute sicko. They can clinch the AFC South with a win. A Colts loss to the Broncos. Dolphins win, by the way, keeps them alive. If Miami wins out over the next month, they have a 90% chance of getting into the playoffs. Hey, Brian Danziger in the control room. I love the Dolphins. You don't like to talk about them, but I like that you put that's a little wink. That's from Hamilton. You go ahead, Hamilton. You should have taken that.
Listen.
That was from him to you guys.
That is, and we're going to get into some Tua a little later on in the show, too. He's playing really, really well right now. Luke's got some things to say about him, so
yeah. It's nice
we got a lot of Dolphins.
Something good's going on for a Tua. Somebody with a Tua associated to their name.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't track stories like that. I just read the headlines on Twitter. Okay, Sunday nighter. Casual, no suit Sunday. Will it return this week? We got a really good one. It's the Packers, who are a 2.5-point fave at Seattle. I want to dig into the Rams-Niners. We're going to do the whole Seattle-Green Bay game with Luke Kuechly, who's on the program, future Hall of Famer. I was thinking about the Rams yesterday and how they've worked their way back into playoff contention, and I couldn't help but call back to our training camp video. Hamilton went back and looked at it. Sick pup that he is. I looked so cute. I don't even have to see it. I loved my ponytail. I was wearing a white tank top. I think I loved this. Want to know why? Because it was the first day of our training camp tour.
Yeah.
If you compare the first day of our training camp tour to what I looked like on the last day of our training camp tour,
for all of us. Yeah.
Holy moly. Living off Cliff Bars and, I don't even know, combos at every gas station in America. Anyway, here's a look at that. One particular thing that stuck out to me, it'll make sense when you see this. I'm erratic.
Last year, I don't think anybody thought our team would be worth the and nobody believed that in our building. And even when we were 3-6, the thing I love the most about that group is they stayed steady, Kay.
Let's go.
And I love that. And so we're going to do that same thing.
Are you overlooked still, you think, going into this year?
I don't really care. You know, I think that we've got to earn it, whatever people say. I'm glad that people care because it makes the NFL relevant, but all these opinions don't mean anything until that ball's kicked off.
Told you. Great ponytail. Here's the deal. I brought up this clip to the guys last week when this was all happening because, remember how remember how upset he was that they weren't giving the Rams love, that everyone was overlooking them? Isn't this the same vibe? Are we repeating ourselves? Groundhog's Day, Bill Murray, let's go. The talk of that 3-6 start, the guys in that locker room never losing belief. It's happening. The Rams went 7-1 after their bye last year and made the playoffs, and they're now 6-2 out the bye after starting 1-4 this season. And that sort of like the pissiness in him, I would run through a wall for that Sean McVay, and he has it. He had it last year. He has it this year. So, you know, I don't know. The Rams have legitimately been one of the best teams in football over the second half of the season. Once again, they're so well coached. They've got Matthew Stafford. They're healthy. Everyone, you know, there's always an asterisk to the health part of it, but them being healthy clearly at the right time is going to project them potentially into the playoffs and beyond. Yeah, but, you know, Niners-Rams are always kind of funky.
Yeah.
What do you got?
The competitiveness with him and Shanahan, he did not like that you brought up Kyle bringing in Belichick to try to mess with him. That got him even more riled up at the end of that interview.
But who really liked it? Me. Actually, that's one of the cringiest clips from all of training camp because I was so proud of myself for my joke.
And he's like, you really like that one, guy. You really think that's funny, don't you?
I think he had the best last word on it because I was so embarrassing with like how excited I was to tell him that. What else do we have? Guys, it's very fitting. We want to go here? Tell me.
Yeah, let's talk about, because this one, basically is a playoff game for the Rams if they are going to make that run. Let's pull up the full screen we have here.
Please.
The Rams' playoff chances with a win, their playoff odds go up to 50%. If they lose to the Niners tonight, it goes down to 27%. They're getting plus 154 odds to make it over on FanDuel Sportsbook. If they win and Seattle loses to the Packers, that shoots up to 60%. So huge weekend for them. This is
I'm a believer. Are you a believer in the Rams? Tell me right now. Plus 154, the man said, to make the playoffs. I'm in.
I am a believer in what the Rams are doing right now, but the Niners... It's crazy. The Niners are 3-point favorites in this game, given the history between these two.
Kittle looks great.
Kittle looks awesome. If the Rams win this one, I think they're going. If the Rams win this one, I think they edge out Seattle, and I think they end up going.
What would stop them? What would do? What's your concern here? They're firing on all cylinders. They have Puka. They got Cooper Kupp looking like Teen Wolf out there as usual. Like, what do you mean? What could stop them?
I think the Niners...
Shanahan?
Shanahan and the Niners looked great last weekend, and they always have something for it. Like, this is kind of, you know, they're probably not going. They have a chance to spoil their biggest rival's season, and I think they're going to come out of the gates fired up.
I think they end up 8-6 after this. I think they win tonight. More interesting to me to see. I'm more interested to see them in the dance.
Yeah.
I just think.
Because they can make a run.
I know. I'm excited for that. Okay. I also want to take a peek at Bills-Lions. We saw this and we're like, oh my gosh, this is such a great game. Thanks everybody joining us on FanDuel TV, on FanDuel Sports Networks across our great nation, MSG Network. We're going to get heavy into the New York stuff with Kimberley Martin of ESPN fame. Excited about that. But this is a potential Super Bowl preview between the Lions and the Bills. Two teams just unstoppable with what they look like. Dan Campbell was asked about the fact that the Lions haven't been able to create separation with the 1 seed because there's Philly and Minnesota. Just keep on winning. They're right behind them. Here's what he had to say.
I think it's great for us. I think, I think it does. It keeps you sharp. I think, I've mentioned this before. I think we do well with pressure, and it's the right kind of friction and stress that we need, and it's motivating. And so, I love it. I think it's great. And look, nobody's going to lose. Nobody's losing. So we're going, man.
He's such a sicko. I love him. He means it. And he's probably right. He's taken every piece of motivation he can to squeeze the best out of his squad. And this game itself is going to give the Lions that same kind of push. This Lions defense has been great this year. The injuries, well documented, well talked about on every sports show in America. And the effects got to be honest, it started to show a little in the second half of the Packers game, didn't it? If the Lions are going to win it all, and win this one even, in this potential Super Bowl preview, it's going to take a Jared Goff masterclass. I think that's what he has in him, though. Yeah. That's what we're going to see. We have an 11-game sample size here, 11-game win streak. Goff has been an MVP, okay? Top 3 in every major stat. I mean, being second in passer rating when there's a 5-interception game is freaking ridiculous. I almost swore. That is ridiculous. You're glad I said freaking, okay, FCC. I will say this. If he keeps things rolling and takes it to Mr. Josh Allen, 6 touchdowns, this might be the last chance for someone to really close the ground in the MVP. Who's going to take it to Josh Allen and make it interesting? Goff 4th on FanDuel, plus 1,700. Hit the sports book up. No one's close to Josh. It's probably Josh's take. Well-deserved. Unbelievable player. But that's the kind of this that I like. If Goff says, I'm going to hand you a second straight loss, and if he goes off, as he has for 11 games in the process, it gets interesting. I would be happy with either of them. One, who do you think wins? Let us know who you putting your money on FanDuel Sportsbook. Put your money where your mouth is with some fun responsibly around the holidays over at FanDuel Sportsbook. By the way, the Bills have the Pats twice and the Jets after this. So, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, this is the last chance, I think, you have to unseat Goff or Josh Allen, because you can't picture them losing to the Patriots or Jets down the stretch with the way those teams look right now. It was also just interesting to hear Goff in those press conferences too. He's gotten a little prickly over the years.
I did not listen.
In a good way. And they asked him about them. He's like, he did not care at all. He didn't want to talk about it. He's like, listen, I'm in the conversation because we have a great team. I don't care. Like, totally brushed it off, and I loved it.
Do you know who I know you care about?
Who?
Luke Kuechly.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, Hamilton would sell me at I don't even know, on the corner if he could hang out with Luke Kuechly. Or he would sell me down the river to have 5 minutes with Luke Kuechly talking X's and O's and schemes. Unbelievable. I've never seen you and Chris are like different people around Luke Kuechly. We'll be back with Luke, guys. We've got Kimberley Martin on the show. Okay.
Here in the stadium.
Kuechly, you are beautiful. That man's a tackling machine. Luke Kuechly, what more can you do?
My next guest, a 5-time first-team All-Pro linebacker. He doesn't like a lot of the accolades, but we like to show him highlights and remember him on the field. Future Hall of Famer, Panthers radio analyst, a smiley Luke Kuechly. Let's start with those Panthers, shall we?
I'm in. Last week was another tough one. We were right on the doorstep. Bryce had another really good game against the Eagles, and we just weren't able to pull it out. We got the Cowboys this week, and we're actually favored going into a game. We get some guys back. Hopefully, we get a little Jalen Coker back in action. Pair him up with Leggett and Thielen and Chuba, and we'll see if Bryce can throw another good game together.
Can they win?
Absolutely, yeah. I think
they
they've
will
played
win?
well. Yeah, I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them for our fourth win of the season. I think the last 5 games we've played well enough to win, and we've let a few of them sneak away from us. And you got to learn as a team as you get older and as you get more experience how to close games out, and that's what we haven't quite been able to do against the Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes went down and scored. Same thing with the Bucs. We had an opportunity to win in regulation, and then last week against the Eagles, we were right on the doorstep, and now we just got to punch through it.
Got to win. I hope it happens. Excited for you and excited to hear you on that radio call. No, it's so funny in the past too. It started like against the Chiefs, like they're playing down, and the Bucs, like it's now all of a sudden they have respect. Like, hey, hold on, the Panthers aren't an easy out. The Panthers aren't like some team you're walking over, and I love hearing that more and more as the weeks go on. Last week I asked you to tell me how to stop Josh Allen. I kind of understood what you were saying, so I'm excited for this one. This week's homework assignment was all about the other MVP hopeful, Saquon Barkley. What are the Eagles doing? Let's start here. What are the Eagles doing to create so much space for this guy?
I think Sirianni and that scheme is really good. I think the name of the game in the NFL right now is how many different looks can you give a team pre-snap? So do you shift a guy? Do you motion a guy? Do you go pre-snap motion? I think one of the things that they're really good on is I think they block really, really well on the perimeter, and they're gigantic up front. I mean, Landon Dickerson, Mekhi Becton at the guard position, they're gigantic, and they just move people out of the way. And then Saquon, I mean, you can't say enough about what he's been able to do. His burst, to me, getting through the line of scrimmage is frightening for defenders. His athletic ability, I've already seen all the highlights, but I think it starts with they're just so – this play right here I think is huge. There's nothing there. He's able to scoot out to the right side and drills the poor sound guy, but they're so big and physical up front, it opens stuff up for him. So obviously Pittsburgh's got a challenge on their hands this week. I think it starts with Highsmith and T.J. Watt. Are they able to set firm edges on the outside of that defense? If that ball continues to stretch to the perimeter of the defense towards the sidelines, it opens up more lateral seams for Saquon to put his foot in the ground and get upfield. So I think it starts with those guys in the edge, and then those two linebackers, when they see run, they have to get downhill. What Philly does such a good job is they're really good up front on double teams on the defensive linemen. So, Cam Jurgens and Mekhi Becton, if they get a guy in between them, they are so good at moving that guy off the point of attack. The only way you can limit those double teams is if the linebackers see run, understand their responsibility, get downhill and take it from a 2-on-1 block to a 1-on-1 block. That's really the only way to do it. And right here, TJ Watt's a monster.
He's so scary. That hurt
He's so
me
good.
watching. Yikes. He is so good. Well, I mean, Saquon's so good. The Steelers' run defense is so good. They're actually 4th best in the National Football League. I'm so curious to know, what Saquon's gifting that offensive line based off what you just showed me. You got to roll out the golf carts or the golf clubs or the new skateboard or hoverboard or whatever. But I'd like to know, choose your fighter. Who's winning this battle? Who is winning this? The Eagles 5.5-point faves over the Steelers.
Ooh.
At the link.
I'm gonna go the Pittsburgh. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a defensive guy. I love T.J. Watt. I love Highsmith. He's a UNC Charlotte guy. Patrick Queen and oh my gosh, now I'm having a brain fart. NC State linebacker that I loved going into the season has had a great year.
Your boy.
Peyton Wilson's done a great job. So I mean, I'm gonna take the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one.
They don't have Pickens. Hey, Mr. Defense, they don't got no George.
It's all right. I'm going to go defense. Russ is going to find a way to figure it out. We played against him a ton when I was there. He's going to find a way to spread that ball out. I think I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
Steelers are becoming too sexy of a pick. It's becoming chalk. Everyone now is going. I thought I was like alt, I don't even know, listening to the alt music on Spotify while everybody else is listening to Taylor Swift. I thought I was cool picking the Steelers. Now everyone is seeing what you are seeing.
You're a trendsetter, I guess. Everyone's following your picks.
I think I'm going to go Eagles just because of this, because I need to zig when everybody's zagging. I like that you're going defense. I like that you don't care if George Pickens is out there. You're fine. Russell Wilson will find a way. We know Josh Allen has been playing lights out, tough to stop. Did you notice anything in watching this game with Joe Brady and how he might be even working his magic in other ways so far? And they got a big one against the Lions.
Yeah, I think, you watch Joe Brady, obviously comes from Sean Payton tree and alignments, getting people out, getting coverage looks, but he did something really good in the beginning, I think of the second half or the fourth quarter of this Rams game. They went up tempo to start this drive. And you watch Jared Verse come off the edge against Deion Dawkins. At the end of this drive, Josh scrambles, he's running. They didn't sub at all, and that pass rush was cooked. They couldn't get guys off the field. It was a 4-man rush. Josh was able to sit back there, dice it up, and eventually Jared Verse had to run off the field. They got a free play. But they probably ran 5 or 6 plays, no huddle, kept that defense on the field. They were tired. That Bills offense went right down the field and scored a touchdown. So they got a little bit stagnant in that game. Obviously, they scored 40 points, but a really good job, in my opinion, of Joe Brady understanding, hey, I got a good group on the field right now. I'm going to push the tempo. They had success early in that drive. And when you keep defenses on the field like that, especially with pass rushers, and you throw and throw and throw and make them rush, turn around, and chase, they get worn out. So great job by him keeping that personnel grouping in and letting Josh kind of work from there.
They're just dunking on people. 30 points a game. It's happening. You saw with, even with the shootout with Matthew Stafford, who deserves a little credit in here. I actually really like that game. That game's tonight. We're going to get to it. But I mean, maybe we all give Joe Brady his credit, but maybe he is sort of the front runner. I mean, there's a lot of great competition, but he's not getting enough love in the MVOC conversation.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Carolina with us, and he did a great job, and then he's been up there for a couple years. I think that, first of all, he's a grinder. That's been well documented since his days back with Sean Payton in New Orleans, and then he came here. He had a great relationship with Teddy Bridgewater. I think he knows exactly what he is, but I don't think he's afraid to highlight what his guys do really well. Obviously, Josh is a way different quarterback than Drew was in New Orleans. And I think Josh does a really good job of, he can run, he can throw the ball down the field, he can make every throw, but Josh does a really good job of short, just like little off-script routes to guys like Curtis Samuel and when Cole Beasley was there and even Diggs. He does a good job of saying, this is my offense, this is what I want to do, this is successful, but this is also what my best player on my team does. Let me get the ball to Shakur in space and let him run.
I think there's a fear from people that Joe Brady better be a 10 out of 10 and Josh Allen better be scoring 6 touchdowns a game because this defense might have some questions. Star-wise, pedigree-wise. You played under Sean McDermott for 5 years. Are you worried about the defense, and what's he telling his defense?
I think last week, obviously, they struggled. No sacks, no interceptions. I think the Rams only punted the ball 2 times. They couldn't get stops when they needed to. Man zone, they struggled. But the one thing with Sean McDermott that I'll give him a lot of credit for is he listens to the guys on the team, right? So we played 2013. We played the Saints down in New Orleans. It was late in the season. That was a game that we always had circled because of Sean and in that offense, and they beat us up. They scored 1 million points on us. I felt like they were all over us. There's me looking, I'm pouting. I remember this play actually. Yeah, it's awful.
Sorry.
But I remember Sean came in to the facility that next week, and he said, "Hey, there we go, perfect. Megan scored on by Jimmy Graham, awesome."
Thanks, good job, guys.
But Sean came in and said, "Hey, what didn't you guys like about last week?" And we said, "Hey, we didn't like this, and this. We felt like we had too much in. We didn't like how we approached this area on the field." And he said, "You know what? Perfect. We played the Jets the next week, and then the following week we played the Saints again." And Sean came in on that Wednesday, that first day of install, and said, "Hey, look, here's what we're gonna play. I had too much in last week. You guys like this, and this. Here's a couple things that I like. Boom, it's on you guys, and go make it happen." So that's what's so good about Sean, in my opinion, and that defensive staff is, they're willing to listen. They're willing to make changes. They're going to do their best to highlight what their guys do really well. And, they struggled last week, but, you watch that game and you watch it again. And I think the Rams are one of those teams that is starting to hit their stride, and everybody in the NFC is watching them and hoping they lose, because I don't think anybody probably wants to play them.
Hammy, you want to get in here?
Yeah, Luke, I was wondering, obviously, you're never going to argue with scoring 42 points, but one of the things I loved about Joe Brady when he took over the play calling last year is he really committed to the run, and we saw that complementary football. And the Bills only ran the ball 6 times in that game against the Rams. The time of possession was 40-20 in favor of the Rams. Do you think maybe they get back to that a little bit more against the Lions? Because you can't imagine they want to really get into a shootout against this high-scoring Lions offense.
Yeah, I think controlling the ball is good, but I think against the Lions, they have to find ways to score points. So I think for them, it's what's their most efficient way to score points, and that's, I think, having the ball in Josh's hands. And I think they might not run it a ton. Obviously, Cook is a fantastic running back, but they have a lot of quick throws and screens and stuff thrown behind the line of scrimmage and little 5-yard spot route to Curtis Samuel and Shakur. And that, to me, kind of mimics the run game for them a little bit. And getting it, I think Joe's just trying to get the ball to his guys in space and letting them move, whether it's Cook or Shakur or, Curtis Samuel. But, yeah, you got to be able to score points against the Lions. But I think for them, I think their best offense is having the ball in Josh Allen's hands.
Who wins the Super Bowl preview?
Oh, man.
In loud-ass Detroit, like Jordan Love covering his ears, Detroit. Calvin Johnson saying gritty AF Detroit. Who wins?
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to go against the Lions at home.
Crazy.
I'm obviously a huge Bills fan. All my guys are up there, and I want the Bills to win so they can get the number 1 seed. Obviously, they need some help from the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have had a difficult time losing games this year. It feels like they find a way to win, but I think at home, I think I'm gonna go Lions.
Okay, you do sound super convincing. I think you're every fan hanging out on FanDuel Sportsbook trying to figure out what to do with that game as they add a little enjoyment to their viewing of this just hopefully shot-for-shot situation. I want to ask you about the NFC. You say the Rams they're healthy, they're getting there. I think they could go on a run. I think that it starts tonight. I'm obsessed, like foolish. I'm obsessed with like who's going to go on a run, who's going to be Packers 2023. We've got this battle. We've seen great playoff matchups between the Seahawks and the Packers. Both teams, they're kind of hot right now. How does this one go? What are you looking at?
I think the biggest thing for the Packers is Jordan Love. I think their team goes as Jordan Love goes. The last 6 games, he's played better. He's obviously turned the ball over early in the season, and that hurt him. He's done a much better job with that. But in the big games is where I think they'd love to get a little bit more out of him when Josh Jacobs gets stopped in the run game, and they need to really lean on him to make some plays. I think that's what they need him to step up a little bit more in that. And I think he did in that first half against the Lions. He struggled a little bit, and then the second half he had this really good ball to Christian Watson. He had another ball to Christian Watson where he evaded pressure, steps up, makes a good throw, and then he fired a laser to Croft in the end zone. So I think for the Packers to have a ton of success, obviously a lot of it leans on that run game and LaFleur doing a good job with that. But when the moment gets big and they need to make a play, Jordan Love has to be the guy that steps up for them.
Do you like the Packers to make noise in the NFC? There's a lot to be had. A lot of teams can go on a run. Saying what I'm hearing, like maybe inconsistent. Let's start here. What do you need to see more out of Jordan Love? Consistently, is it fixable, or have we seen the whole Jordan Love experience?
No, I think it's fixable, and obviously, he's still not a young player anymore. But I would say he's
I know what you mean.
This year for me, I think, obviously last year he played fantastic, but the big games, obviously Philly, the Vikings, twice to the Lions, against the good teams in the NFC, for them to make noise and them to really go on a run. I think he needs to just play a little bit better because they're going to have to lean on him in those games, and I think he's definitely capable of doing that.
We're looking at the playoff picture, and he has had good games. He was 4-3 before the bye. They're 3-1. It looks like they're going on a bit of a run. The completion percentage under 70 for both. If you go back to before the bye and now, obviously you're talking about the turnovers, some great throws. There's a little more to be desired. If the season ended today, the Packers and Seahawks would be the first round matchup. Who do you like in the playoffs more, the Packers or the Seahawks?
I think for me, it's whoever gets to play at home. So right now, where the divisions are at, I would take this. I would take Seattle. That's a hard place to play on the road. Obviously, Seattle's played a lot better on the defensive side of the ball the last couple weeks. I think for me, it really depends on who has the home game, and you can't underestimate the home environment of both Lambeau and Seattle. So for me, I think it's a toss up between the two teams. I think they're both going to be at their peaks. I'm a huge proponent of if you can stay at home for the playoffs, I think you have such a huge advantage.
I'm a huge proponent of let's make it interesting. Which one of these teams has a better chance of taking out the Eagles?
Ooh.
Luke, be honest.
I like Seattle in that defense right now.
Top 5 across the board.
I think they're playing really well. You know, they're averaging, I think they're giving up over the last probably 5-6 weeks. I think they're under 14 points a game. They traded for Ernest Jones. He's done a really good job for them. He is making a pick, and they're good outside. I think Reek Woolen has great length. Leonard Williams, the rookie, obviously, or the second-year player right there, making a big play. They're young. They have energy. And if they're playing in Seattle, that place is so difficult to play on the road in the playoffs. I give them an advantage, especially as an opposing offense with the noise and the energy. It's just a hard place to play.
Braden Fisk was on our show. I know, you Jared Verse, and he this Rams defense playing tonight. He came on, and I figured he'd say, I don't like the Niners. He goes, I hate playing against Seattle. Those fans. And I thought in my head, they're like a cute little fan base. They're loud, but I don't think that they were dangerous. And you're here like you're co-signing this with your face.
Oh yeah, there's a guy that sits at the end of the tunnel in Seattle. Have you heard about this guy?
No, who's this guy? I think that Braden was talking about this guy.
Yeah, everybody knows him. Every single player that has played a game in Seattle for an away team knows exactly who I'm talking about. And he is an awesome fan. He's a great dude. He has signs. He knows everything about the opposing team, about the players. He's got great jokes.
What has he said to you? I need examples.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I didn't. When was it? So in 2016, I didn't play that game. So I got dinged up the week before. I was out with some concussion stuff, and I was like dreading walking out because I'm like, he's gonna say something to me.
Hold on, Luke Kuechly is in the locker room, knowing
I wasn't playing that week.
I understand, but you want to like support your teammates, so you're going to be there. Who is the opponent? So you're playing the Seahawks.
Playing Seattle.
And you're in Seattle, and you're sitting there like eating your Uncrustable or grilled cheese sandwich or Reuben or whatever the hell, apple pie, whatever Luke Kuechly eats.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to go, I'm nervous. I'm Captain America, and I'm nervous to go out there because his fans are going to tell me a joke.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, man, he's going to have something for me. And I'm like, man, I don't need that right now. And I remember I walked out and he said, hey, Luke. I was like, oh my gosh. He was nice to me. He came over and he said, hey, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay? We love watching you. I'm glad you're taking a little bit of time to get yourself back. So he is a great fan. He's a great person, but he is a dude that if you've played in Seattle, you know exactly who he is.
Who is he? Do we know? Do you know anybody know his name?
I should know his name. I feel bad that I don't.
I wanted Mike McDonald on the show. Scratch that. I need this. I need the fan.
Is it Captain Seahawks?
Is it Captain Seahawks? Hold on. Let's show.
He stands
Is it
right
this
on
guy?
the corner.
No. Yeah. Is it that guy?
No, it's not him. It's so if you're coming out of the tunnel, he stands on the right. He stands on the right side of the tunnel, right where it turns the corner.
You said that he comes over to you. How does he come over to you to say that?
I went over to him.
You went to just take your licking.
You have to walk by him. You have to walk by him to get out there. And
but give me an example. I don't want to hear this cute stuff. I want to hear give me the venom that he spewed at you that made a future Hall of Famer scared to go over to hang out with him.
He's got, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Okay. He's always got good jokes for kickers and stuff like that. He's he's great.
He's like Nikki Glaser out there, just roasting people left and right. We love this.
He's fantastic.
All right, now let's get to the good stuff. The weekly Kuechly, not for the meekly, probably pretty geekly moment of genius. Luke, smartest thing you saw this week?
Oh, the last play of the game with the Miami Dolphins, Jonnu Smith runs an over. This is a big Mike McDaniel schemed up play, right? So Odell Beckham runs a little curl route, voids the zone. Jonnu Smith's job is to just find the open area. So I think a great scheme job by Mike McDaniel, really good job by Odell running an unselfish route, and then our guy Tua just that's a difficult throw, small window in the end zone to win the game. I think all around great catch by Jonnu, but great play design. That's a cover 3 look. They're clearing the backside hook player out with a seam ball and over, and then Jonnu runs to the voided zone, and great ball by Tua. It's just that's a play where I'm sure Mike McDaniel was waiting the call during the game, saw the look he liked in that area on the field, pulled it out of his back pocket, perfect execution. I'm sure he'd love that play.
When I was watching that, I was thinking the same thing, seam ball in the voided zone.
Exactly.
It's exactly how I saw it. I need Kuechly glasses when I watch the game. Somebody, Apple Genius Bar, work on that. The Texans quickly, 2.5-point faves over the Dolphins in Houston. Iffy teams, could be a fun one. Who you got?
I'm going to go Texans at home. I like the pass rush. I love their defense. It's D'Amico Ryans is a guy that I loved growing up watching, and the energy that those guys play with. And CJ Stroud will have a big game. We haven't talked a ton about him the last couple weeks, but I think this will be one for him that he's going to step up at the end of the year to make some plays, get them back on the map a little bit.
Perfect. Enjoy the Panthers game with this juggernaut team looking for a win, their 4th of the season. He'll be on the radio call. Luke Kuechly, we're going to keep you through the break. I want to ask you about the face mask penalties. But we'll be back with Kimberley Martin of ESPN to talk all things Shador at the Knicks game last night, the Giants with the number 2 pick, little Jets, Aaron Rodgers, sure, after this. See, Luke, I spare you the Aaron Rodgers. Aren't you glad?
What's going on with them?
You tell me. What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I think if you always play the game of what's a better option. I still think that he's a really good quarterback. I just think this year has been a very difficult one for a lot of reasons for that team. Different coaches, play calling. They trade for Devontae mid-year. Mike Williams gets hurt, then he leaves. I think there's just a lot going on there right now.
You open the can here. If Aaron is the quarterback in Green Bay right now, would you be more confident in them? Right now.
Oh, man. I think Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay sounds romantic. I think it sounds good. I don't know if they're...
Finally, every girl in the world's wanted to know what Luke Kuechly finds romantic. We finally know Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. We got our answer.
In the snow at Lambeau when it's cold. It just is so Aaron Rodgers to me.
Oh, my God, that's the best answer ever. That was a good question by me, though, no?
Yeah, it's good.
All right. We got this news yesterday. Not my favorite stuff, but the league meetings happened. Face mask penalties could be subject to replay assistance next season. I imagine you like that?
You know what? I think that football is played by imperfect guys. Guys make mistakes. Guys miss throws. Guys miss tackles. Guys drop balls. I think coaches make mistakes. I think refs make mistakes. And I think at some point that's kind of the fun of the game. And I think it adds – I think if they get every call right every time, I think it takes away from – I just think it takes away from the excitement of the game a little bit. What
do you think, Hamilton? Let's take a look at some of these missed face masks. I know we have some footage of it.
I think that's spoken like a true defensive player. And want to avoid calling more penalties. I feel it. Yeah. There are so many rules against the defense. Look
at poor Joe. Hasn't Joe been through enough? Look at that.
It's nice to get away with a few things every once in a while, right, Luke?
Yeah, and also, you know what? I think they need to call. I mean, that's.
Oh my gosh, Luke, that's crazy.
Bad. Yeah, it is. But hey, I just wish they would call more face mask penalties on offensive guys. We can get stiff-armed in the face, and it's just a tough life playing defense. So any help we can get, I'll take it.
Okay, Luke, we love you. Way to weasel out of an answer about. There's a Jordan Love thing going on with you that I will unpack. Packers, okay. Good pun there, over the next couple of weeks. We appreciate you, and I think we are seeing you before the holidays. We have hunch time coming up, actually. I just lied. We're not letting you go yet. We're going into overtime. That was really rude of me, and I apologize. Poor guy thought he was done. Let's ask more about romance and Luke Kuechly, shall we?
There we go.
Oh, boy.
Rubens, Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
I'm slowly getting to the layers of Luke Kuechly onion here. Welcome back to Up and Adams. Luke Kuechly is on the show, and FanDuel is offering all customers a 25% profit boost token used on any live wager. This is very fun. You get to do it in real time, IRL, LOL. FanDuel Sportsbook during a game has these live wagers. You can boost any live bet that you like, minus 200 odds or longer for Thursday night action. NFC West, big implications on the Rams side here. What are the Niners going to look like? Who do you trust? Who do you believe in? Are you a Brock Purdy gal or guy? Let us know. Let's do this, Hammy.
All right, let's get into a couple of these props for tonight. Luke, we're going to start with you. Puka Nakua's line for receiving yards is 88.5. So do you think he goes over or under that?
I'm gonna take the over on it. I think it's gonna be a shootout tonight. I'm gonna take Puka on the over. I love watching him play football. He's physical. He blocks. He's tough. He catches every ball thrown at him.
Football player.
He's a football player. Yeah, he plays. He just him and Cooper Kupp both. So I'm gonna take the over.
Love it. Kay, Debo's line for receiving yards 48.5.
I love Debo. I saw him talk. I'm all over Debo right now with these tweets and this. He's not happy, squeaky wheel, like whatever it takes. I'm going to go over it. He's been held, unfortunately, under 25 receiving yards per game, and I believe 4 straight games. The way this week has gone, I'm throwing my pen. He's throwing his hands up. The Rams have issues defending the slot. Okay, I've done the tape. Luke hasn't. I have, and I think Debo has his bounce back tonight.
All right, Luke, back to you.
I can't say shit like that with Luke Kuechly on the screen. Go on, Hamilton. Ay, ay, ay.
All right, Luke, Brock Purdy's line for passing yards tonight is 258.5. Does he get there?
I'm going to say he does. I'm going to take the over. He threw for almost 300 yards the last time they played. And like I said, I'm rooting for a shootout tonight in order for them to get there, in order for Debo to get his yards. Brock's got to play well, and I'm going to take the over.
He had almost 300 yards without George Kittle on the field. He obviously has him back tonight. So
good tag. Way to go.
Well. There we go.
You're great on TV. Let's go.
All right, okay. Stafford's line for passing yards is 244.5. So what do you think?
He's healthy. The offensive line is working. Puka's a football player. Cooper, he's got your beard. It's all happening right now for the Rams. Them being healthy at the right time matters. Shanahan's, tough. I don't know if they get the win. I think that they do. But it comes to yards like this. He's locked in. He's gone over that number, by the way. Doesn't care. They win the game, and everybody's talking about Josh Allen. Do you know how that probably makes Matthew Stafford feel? He's going to go out swinging. Niners pass defense. It's good. I get it. But I think Stafford gets his yards because I like offense.
All right, Luke, give me one anytime touchdown score for the Rams tonight.
I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp. I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp. The ball found Puka a lot last week. On that last touchdown that Puka scored on that screen pass, Cooper Kupp had a huge block that sprung it for the touchdown. So I think high red zone. I think Sean McVay throws Cooper Kupp a bone down the seam and catches a touchdown.
I love that. Cooper's not getting enough credit either. He's playing really well right now.
Lock me in for George Kittle! Travis Kelce is Mr. Primetime touchdown. Sure. I think George Kittle gets one tonight. Niners undefeated in their last 8 games against the Rams, by the way. When Kittle plays, I say they win. What say you? Luke, who wins this one?
I'm gonna go Rams. I'm gonna go Rams. I think they're playing. They're hot right now. Obviously, the Niners scored 38 last week, but I think the Rams. I don't know. There's something about them that I like right now. I watched that whole game against the Bills, and they have an edge. They've got an attitude right now, and it's been fun watching the last.
Yeah, it's because you're talking about Josh Allen and a loss more than you are about Matthew Stafford at his age, a Super Bowl champion, doing what he's doing. I think that matters. Luke, you're the best. We'll get into more romantic. Do you like Love Actually? Is that a movie you've seen? You've never seen it?
I haven't seen that one.
Luke, that surprises me. Okay, we're going to play like Luke Bingo or something next time we have you on. See you later.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Now, I'll question his ability to recruit a bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds or his want to recruit a bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds. But even NIL now operates more like free agency than it ever has. So there's probably more overlap than we even see on the surface.
Belichick has proven he can recruit the youngins. Like, you know what I'm saying?
We got to come.
The delivery. Kimberley Martin, the delivery. If I had roses, I would be throwing them to you. Happy to see you get up, first take around the horn. And that line, Kimberley Martin.
Kay, my love, I didn't think I was saying anything out of turn. I think I was just speaking truth. Like, he literally was just with his girlfriend outside. Like, he knows what he's doing. So Belichick, I love it for him.
Yeah, how did he recruit her, right? I want the inside scoop there. Bill Belichick, the news of the day, he has accepted the UNC job. I'm assuming this means that maybe he thought, oh, I wouldn't have a place in the NFL landscape for a second year in a row. I'm going to go do that. What does this say about the coaching landscape of the NFL?
I got to be honest, Kay, I think, I said this on First Take today, I think it's criminal that he's not in the NFL. Because you can't tell me, given the accolades, given his resume, given what he's done as a defensive coordinator and as a head coach, that Bill Belichick can't build an NFL winning program. I understand the end of the Patriots, not good. I get it. But for more teams not to be interested in him, given what he's done, I'm disappointed for him. But I'm happy for him that he has an opportunity. Listen, Kay, in this world, we're not trying to be pick-me's. It's not about, hey, please, you're not begging people to pick you in this world. It's you want to go where you are celebrated and cherished, and he has that in UNC.
That's fair. Where are you? What is his background? Is this work?
So I'm at the Seaport. Yeah, I just did First Take. I've got the Seaport behind me.
Beautiful.
I don't know. Yeah, got the lighting situation.
What's the lesson of Bill Belichick? You're disappointed. I'm disappointed. So much work, decades, rings. Is it ageism? Is it just it wore thin? Is it Brady was better, he's not? What is the lesson of Bill Belichick?
So I think it is now people want to debate the Tom of it all versus the Bill of it all. I think that hurts him clearly. But I also think it's the assumption that Bill wanted to come into an NFL building and say, it is my way or the highway, because that's what we did in New England. Now, he and I went to the same undergrad, Wesleyan University, so I don't know Bill like that, but I know he's highly intelligent. I don't know if that's the case, like if he told teams that, like, it's got to be me and that's it and I run everything, or if teams assume that. And I know people within buildings said, you know what, if you bring in Belichick, he could get rid of me. He could get rid of you. Like, you got it. I think the fear of Bill coming into a building saying this doesn't work, that doesn't work, we need to, do better. I think a lot of people in the NFL said, you know what, we can figure it out on our own. We don't need to bring him in here. And that's not about winning. That's about ego to me. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like I would hope that there's people who would welcome that sort of authority and leadership. I was trying to, I will be honest with you, the last year and a half, I've been trying to get him to be the coach of the Jets, which I know can never happen, but look at that face. I'm trying to get one of those Kimberly faces on my show, I wished it could happen. You don't want him resigning on a napkin again. You don't want that. I think Jets fans should like that prospect. Right. I like where your mind is going. But no, he would never step foot back in there. That was a beautiful line, I gotta say. It was literally everywhere yesterday. Like, you won the internet with that perfect delivery. I love to see it. I think sometimes I forget I'm on TV. We're just talking. It's good. Like, you want to be, like, you're talking with your boys at a bar, like you're talking sports. And literally, we're talking about Belichick can't relate to young people. I mean, yes, he can.
Clearly he can in some ways. I don't want to think about it too long, so let's move on from the Seaport and Belichick to, we mentioned the Jets here, so let's go into the Aaron Rodgers of it all. He had a lot to say about the organization just yesterday. Let's take a listen.
It might be something like that. Might be some sort of curse we got to snap as well. But whatever the case, this team, this organization is going to figure out how to get over the hump at some point.
I heard this and I thought, I know Kim has worked this beat for 5 years and you're still doing it, being there in New York, working for ESPN. And I was thinking, is she like taking that in as like, yeah, of course, what are you just learning this now? Or do you think that there isn't a curse? Where do you stand on this?
I know a lot of Jets fans feel that. And when Aaron came last year, I was there week 1. Whereas Monday night of September 11th, I was on the sidelines pregame for the fireworks, and I was like, this building has never felt more electric. This is incredible. And then for it to end his season to end 4 plays in, I was like, that was the moment where I was like, this doesn't happen to normal franchises. This just doesn't. There is something, I don't want to use curse, but there's something about this organization that just can't get out of its own way. And whatever it does, it just backfires. And I don't know what will fix it. Because I thought I actually was optimistic for Jets fans. I thought they're going all in. He's got something left in the tank. And this season has just been a train wreck. And our guy, Devontae Adams, your guy, I loved him. I said it'd be criminal for them not to get him. They got him.
Same.
And the offense just has not. I don't know what will fix it, but Aaron Rodgers clearly hasn't been the answer, which is unfortunate because I was hoping for that storybook ending for him and Jets fans here in this area.
I agree. There was a shocker. You're in that area. MSG last night. How was the game?
Kay, don't do this to me.
What do you mean? There you are. There you are. You're at the Knicks game. You're on the.
Wait, what? Okay, first of all, Trae Young, do not come to Madison Square Garden throwing dice on my court. Don't do that.
Is that what happened?
Don't do that. I'm still upset. I'm not even. I can't even.
I don't even know. I have no follow for you. I'm not worthy of the first. I have no idea. Please tell me what happened.
Well, we lost Kay.
Yeah.
And Trae Young wanted to be at center court throwing the dice, and he's the ultimate heel. He's the troll. If he was playing against somebody else, I would love it. Against the Knicks. See, you see?
I didn't put that up there. That's I only can control what I can control up there. You don't like that. I was showing you that we mocked that up because Shedeur Sanders was there, courtside at the game. This is I'd rather it have been you. An insane applause. Kim, the crowd goes absolutely crazy. Can he save New York football?
For which team? The Giants?
Just in general. New York. It could be both, one or two.
So here's the thing. Talent-wise, yes, he brings it. He would be used to the city, the lights, all of that. His dad is Deion Sanders. Let's be honest.
Yes.
But I don't see how one guy can fix a franchise. Given the Giants, they've been trying to fix their offensive line for 10 years. They've been trying to protect quarterbacks for 10 years, and it hasn't happened. To expect that Shedeur, yes, I love Malik Neighbors. He needs somebody to get him the football downfield. I would love the pairing. But if Giants fans are expecting that this guy can completely, solely turn around by himself, that they need more than just Shedeur. But he can handle the spotlight. Listen, the spotlight would love him. The endorsements off the chain. He has that energy. I'm from Brooklyn, so he can handle it. He can handle it for sure. I just don't know if getting to the playoffs in year one is actually realistic or anything like that.
Well said. You handle a lot on Get Up, a lot of personalities, a lot of stuff going on. I'd like to get to know everyone a little bit better with something I'm calling Get Up-erlatives. You're a part of Get Up on ESPN. It's just like, which ESPN personality is this? Who's most likely to get coal in their stocking this year?
Oh, Dan Orlovsky.
Why?
Dan, I brought in treats. I brought in different pastries. My agency, shout out to Montag, sent me pastries. I brought in for everybody. Dan was like, who's going to eat this? And then he took a bite and was like, I don't eat stuff like this.
He's so weird. What a weirdo.
He's so weird with his white rice and boiled chicken. No flavor.
It's so weird. No flavor, no nothing. Like, get over it. Then he has to comment on it. Just don't touch it then. By the way, WME's never sent me pastries. Just saying, Montag Group, hey, holler. Most likely to fit in a workout before the show?
Greenie. That man, he does a lot of hours between Countdown, Get Up, and the Draft podcast that he has with Field Yates and Mel. He's my guy. I love Greenie. He's on his little Stairmaster.
That's not true. You don't want to invite him to Thanksgiving. Kimberly, I track you. I know what's up. Most likely to be the last to leave the holiday party?
Oh, man. Probably Harry Douglas. Because Harry Douglas will come in and just be talking from sunup to sundown. Like he's talking about Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks beating my Knicks. So, yeah.
Most likely to buy Lamar Jackson's new unisex perfume?
Ooh, me.
Oh, I love that.
I love Lamar.
I do too. I want to smell that perfume more than anything. Most likely to get their Super Bowl pick right this year?
Gosh. Who do I work with? Jeff Saturday. I don't know. I'll throw him a bone.
Oh, I love that. See, what a good teammate. Kimberley Martin, we appreciate you. I hope I see you. I need to see you sometime soon. You're the best. I love everything about you. Congrats on everything. See you soon. Love her. God.